My name is Amanda Vincent, and I am running for West Virginia House of Delegates, District 88. Yes, so I am a mother of a young son who's a toddler still. I am a farmer, and I am a United States Army veteran. Um, so I joined the military right out of high school. I was an 18-year-old, and I was a cryptologic linguist for 6 years, which just meant that I was sent to language school in California, where I learned Persian Farsi, which is what they speak in Iran, and Afghanistan. Dari, which is what they speak in Afghanistan. I was in Afghanistan for 7 months, so I'm a combat veteran. And the last 2 years that I was in the military, I was stationed at the National Security Agency, which is where I met my now husband, Steve, who is a student at Potomac State for the SAGE program, which is the Sustainable Agricultural Entrepreneurship degree. And and then after I left the military, I didn't know what I wanted to do for a little bit, and I settled on accounting. I really love the structure of it, the fact that it doesn't. I just like this. I like the structure of it. So I'm about 3/4 of the way through an accounting degree, which is right now through Old Dominion University, which is in Virginia, and I'm trying to switch that over to Shepherd University because I want that West Virginia degree. So, and then as far as community involvement. So right now you can find me this spring and summer in Cape and Bridge at the Cape and Bridge Farmers Market. I'm a member of the Hampshire County Farmers Market Association. I am their new treasurer this year, so that's exciting. That goes back into my love of accounting. And primarily where you will see me in the community is this is now my second year as the president of the Hampshire County Democratic Club. Now, I know people hear the word Democrat and they will shut down at this point, but I just like to remind people or just let people know that the Democrats you see at the federal level are very different than the Democrats you see at the state level, and once again are very different than the ones you're going to see at the local level. So I consider myself a rural Democrat, which means that there are guns in my household. I own guns. My husband and I are very much trained on those guns. I do not want to take away from other people what I don't want to be taken away from me. I want to have the right to protect my livestock from animals, for example. I just had a fox not too long ago kill all of my turkeys. So that was in the middle of the night, but if I want to have the opportunity and the right to protect my business, basically. And I also want to let people know that if they're not aware, there's a lot of Democrats that play huge roles in Hampshire County specifically. We have church leaders, we have huge business owners, we have teachers, we have government officials, we have the recycling center. There are programs around here that are aimed to help children. A lot of them, if they're not run directly by Democrats in Hampshire County, they are very heavily influenced by, and there's a lot of support. So once again, I know that people are going to hear the word Democrat here in Hampshire County, and a lot of things are going to come through your brain probably. And I just want to let you know that once again, I am a gun owner. I have no intention of taking away your guns, and I support farmers. Without farmers, there's no food. So I just wanted to let people know that before they start, just hear certain connotations and think something about me that I don't think is necessarily true. So what I think makes me the best candidate for this position is, as I said before, I'm a mother and I'm a farmer, and the bills that come across, hopefully my desk in the future as a legislature, will affect me and my family. They will affect, like I said, my son. They will affect my land. They will affect my life here. Whether or not West Virginia succeeds or fails, I will then succeed or fail, if that makes sense. I have a huge skin in this game. My opponent is retired. His children are grown. They have left the state. And I totally understand that. This is a beautiful place to retire. But the things that are happening right now in West Virginia affect me, not hypothetically in that situation. They affect me very directly in my family. So I believe that I am a great candidate for this position because I do have a huge skin in the game, and I want West Virginia to succeed. I want West Virginia to be number one in education and infrastructure and broadband access. Those are the things that I want. So that's why I believe that I am the best candidate for this position. The overall goal right now is, if you have paid attention to the last couple of years of what's been happening at the Capitol, we have about a 3-month legislative period. So that's January through March. I want to say 90% of that time has been spent on legislation and bills that don't go after the issues. So before the legislative session, you're going to hear your legislators say, I want to deal with childcare, I want to deal with healthcare access, I want to deal with all these things. And then they go on and they spend 2 to 3 months on not those things. And then about the last week or two is when they finally were like, oh wow, we should really focus on the budget. We should really focus on childcare. Oops, sorry, we don't have enough time. We're going to have to come back in a special session. So my main goal going into this, if I am elected, is to try and block that stuff out. West Virginia, we need more than that, right? We need to focus on what actually matters to us, like our school system, like our infrastructure, the things that I'm saying. So that's my overarching goal. I'm trying to not drown in those culture war issues because that's not important to us right now, right? And then my main goal is education. I believe teachers need an extremely high competitive salary increase. Now, there was a salary increase in the 2022 session. There was a salary increase for teachers, but then there was an increase in their insurance premium. So for a lot of people, that kind of canceled it out, right? And then this last year, at the very last second, like I said before, like the last week or two before the session ended, earlier this month, they were then trying to focus on teacher increases. So I believe that there was a 5% that was agreed on. It was either 4 or 5%. But still in Hampshire County, teachers, these fantastic educators, can drive 45 minutes into a different state and make literally thousands of dollars more money. And I believe that a lot of issues in our state can be not necessarily solved, but a lot of issues come back to our education system. We are one of the worst ranking education systems in the country. And I want us to be number one because, once again, I have a young son. I want him to be part of an incredible public school system, and I believe that all of that comes back to making sure that our teachers are well paid. I plan to make a difference, and a lot of this kind of goes back to my previous answers. We need legislators in office that are not going to be focusing on culture war issues. That's just not, in Hampshire County, that's just not what we're focused on right now, right? We are having issues, once again, with our special education here in Hampshire County. I believe there was like a state of emergency called for that. My son was in the Birth to 3 program, so once again, I'm focused on making sure that those systems are then in place for him as he grows up, as well as everyone else's family. But I believe I can make a difference because I'm bringing a new perspective to our legislature. I'm a woman. I'm also Hispanic. A lot of people don't know that I'm Mexican. And I think just bringing that new perspective. And I'm younger. I'm still in the workforce age. There are things that are going on in this county that if you are above that age range, you're not going to necessarily, it's not going to affect you as much. But a lot of people here are struggling, and I believe that that's how I'm going to make a difference. Is really just coming in with that mindset. I also don't ever believe at any point in time that I know everything, and I'm very open to hearing. I believe that the people who are most affected by issues should have the loudest voices, and I'm very open to hearing those voices. So hopefully that answers that question. So as far as the opioid crisis, I am very fortunate to where I have not had a immediate family member or friend who has dealt with that. But that does not mean, so that me saying that means that I have not directly had to confront that issue in my personal life. And that kind of goes back to my previous answer where I said that the people who are involved with this should have the loudest voice. So that is going to be there is a lot of headway in the state of trying to get the opioid crisis solved. At the state legislator level, a lot of it's being focused on criminalizing drug use. And research has shown that does not work. We need to focus on recovery efforts and putting those efforts and those ideas in the hands of professionals. Luckily, we have the Romney Pathways here. I did visit there last year. Just in case you didn't know, I've been running for office since about April of last year, and I believe it was April or May. I actually went and spoke with them there, seeing what it is that they needed and what they felt like they needed. But I think a lot of it is making sure that money and resources and research is being pushed into those recovery specific pathways. So, one of the biggest infrastructure issues going on right now, I know that that goes back to the internet. I know that we are trying to expand the internet access throughout the county. And I know that there are like issues with the topography of the area that's creating a lot of difficulties. And that's going to go back to me trying to speak with the people who are the experts on that, because I am not, unfortunately. I just know that that's something that we really, really, really need to focus on here. And then another thing, as far as infrastructure, I know off the top of my head, there are several abandoned properties throughout the county. And if I recall, the county commission was hesitant on trying to deal with those properties. And I know there was a string of fires, maybe like it was like a year ago, 2 years ago, and that's a safety hazard. And for a lot of people, they consider it to be an eyesore, but I think we can just do better with those properties. Number one has been we need to keep focusing on internet access and broadband. That is a really big one. I know that, for example, I was watching Logan Mance's interview, and I know he's talked a lot about the fact that there's been a lot of headway in Hampshire County specifically for internet access, but I think that there definitely is room for improvement. And I think a lot of businesses might not want to come into the area because of that. And then I believe at the legislature level, there's been a lot of focuses on big corporations coming into the state, and tax breaks for them, and I don't really think that's working. So I think that in order to bring, for example, I'm a really big supporter of small businesses, and I think in order to bring those people into the state, or even people that live here to start businesses, I think it really goes down to a quality of life issue. And that goes back to the education system, for example. People will want to come into the state if they know that their child is going to have a good school system, and then that's going to want to make them expand into businesses. But that's what I want to focus on, making sure that the quality of life for West Virginians here is good, because there has been a focus on big corporations, and I don't think that's working. That doesn't seem to be working. That's been their focus for a few years now. So definitely trying to focus on the quality of life of individuals for small businesses. So one thing that most people don't know about me, I kind of mentioned it earlier, that I am Hispanic. That kind of comes as a shock to people. If you're not a close friend of mine, you might not know that I know how to butcher multiple animals. We used to raise our own chickens and turkeys. We kind of stopped doing that, but I learned how to butcher turkeys, rabbits, chickens. I also love to collect like egg layers, almost like Pokemon. So like right now I have like a whole rainbow array of egg colors, just to let y'all know, super cute. I have goats. Right now I have a goat in my house because it's kind of cold outside and she doesn't have any baby buddies right now. But the most important thought that I would like to leave with voters, I really talked about at the beginning of this interview. I would love if people would look past the D or the R or the I next to people's names on the ballot. I know that our party system, it's very easy to glance at the ballot and think that you know immediately what they're about. But I don't think that's true, especially at the state level. There's been a lot of work lately to remove freedoms from West Virginia, specifically at the state level, to remove powers from parents to dictate medical decisions for their children. This session, they were trying to criminalize teachers and librarians. There's a lot going at the state level, and I know it's a lot to have to deal with and look at and look into. I know, and sometimes it can drive you crazy, but I'm really hoping that people are willing to look past the D that's going to be next to my name, and know that I am with y'all. I love West Virginia, and I want to make sure that it stays rural. I don't want it to change in the way that some people might assume that I want it to change, and I hope people give me that chance. Thank you so much.